And now it's time to be an adult. Welcome to Adult 101. I want to apologize for the quality of my first few videos because I am a noob and I did not know that there was like this cinema HD setting on my camera. That shows you how much I know about video editing. But you can check out my vlog, Martina, because I follow my creative process a little bit, and yeah, I'm a noob. So this is the first episode of a show I'm going to call Adulting 101. I'm going to interview myself today. Peyton's going to interview me. And I'm going to interview my friends and just talk about being a 20-something-year-old and the pains and throes of it. So, you can interview me.
We shall begin. What are the pros and cons of being your age?
Okay, so I'll start with the positive. Pros are you're not in high school anymore. Because sometimes high school sucks a little bit. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's not the best thing ever either. You get to live on your own and not with your parents, which is a really awesome thing. I mean, not necessarily. Not everyone moves out, not everyone lives on their own, but for most 20-something-year-olds, they've moved out and live on their own. Pro and con would be you can buy your own stuff, but then you also have to buy your own stuff. So I look at it more as a pro, though. I prefer to buy my own things on some things. So those would definitely be the pros, and you get to make more decisions on your own. Yeah, everything's pretty much in your hands as far as like life and practical stuff goes. Like you get to make most of the decisions. The cons would be everyone expects you to make the right decision. There is like a lot of pressure to do things a certain way, whether it's your money, whether it's your spirituality, whether it's your romance life, like just every part of your life. Then everyone feels entitled to tell you how to live your life for some reason. And I think some of that is because people are just so afraid of you messing up or something. I don't know. It's really annoying. But, yeah, that's the biggest pro, I would say. And, or not pro. That's the biggest con, I would say. And then I think just in general, another con would be, like, friendships get a little harder. They can. You have to be more specific with your time. You have to be more intentional with your time, which is kind of a pro, but then at the same time, it can be a little bit of a con because you don't have school and you don't have college or you don't have whatever you were involved in necessarily, and it seems harder to connect with people because everyone that's your age is going through the same crap and you're all trying to deal with it, and it's really tough. So, and you have to pay your own bills and stuff, so that's kind of a con a little bit. It's nice to have your own money, but it pretty much, like, goes away for a lot of people, especially, so, yeah.
How do you deal with the stress of being a young adult?
How do I deal with the BS of being an adult? It is hard sometimes, for sure. I would say trying to be positive about it is the best way I deal with it. Trying to be intentionally positive, because when Peyton and I are stressed out about something, typically what happens is we're both kind of stressed out about it, and we're not people that take it out on each other, so we just don't really talk about it for a few days, but we both know we're like sort of stressed. And then, like, after 2 or 3 days, one of us will bring it up. And I'm like, oh, thank God you brought that up because it was stressing me out, too. And then, but when we approach it, we don't approach it. Because I know some people get kind of, they argue with each other, which, you know, that's people, like, doing their thing and figuring their thing out. But we don't argue, really. We need that time to kind of, like, have things blow over a little bit and to process things on our own. And then we come together and we try to approach it in the most positive way, but we express, like, how this is really stressing me out, this is worrying me, blah, 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 how do we deal with it, and we try to come together as a team Yeah, that's the biggest way I deal with that kind of stress. Also, it's nice to have like a person that's an older adult that you can just kind of like vent and talk to. It's nice when you can have those people to talk to. That's a really good way. And like meditating or praying, that's kind of a good thing for me too, is just taking a little bit of time here and there to like be like, okay, I'm forgetting everything for a minute and I'm just gonna like focus on what's important to me and like all the things that matter and what's healthy. And I just take some time to kind of chill and relax and let it be. So
What type of work do you do?
I work in retail right now. I worked at a little popcorn store when I was in high school for about 9 months, and then I went off to school and I didn't work really any. I did some volunteer work, I guess you could say. And then I worked at McDonald's for a month, and it was the worst ever. I had no time to see Peyton, and I hated it so much. People were so mean. I worked at the drive-thru. People are really cranky about food. Kudos to anyone that can work there and has worked there, but I would not recommend it. I think it sucks. And now I work in retail. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to be talking about my work, but I do work retail. Right now I'm looking into getting a little bit out of retail. I want to start doing more like this YouTube stuff. We want to start our own business. I thought about doing like babysitting, dog sitting. I want to kind of to get out of the retail realm a little bit. I guess I could say I like it. I do customer service. I answer a lot of phone calls. I help customers. I handle all the merchandise we do there. I know I pretty much am really good at recommending like a good sheet to you or a really good set of cookware, or I'm good at recommending the best of the products we sell, and I do the cash register and stuff. But I'm kind of wanting to get away from that a little bit to have more time and energy to put into things that I really want to pursue and that matter a lot to me. So, yeah.
How do you budget, and what do you prioritize with your money?
Okay, how do I budget? Like this. I have a piece of paper that because I do the budgeting pretty much between Peyton and I, because I just took it upon myself to do that. I have a little piece of paper, and I don't really want to show all the numbers right now, but I put a list of the bills and when they're due and how much they are, and I check them off when they've been paid or they've been automatically deposited from our account. And then I put a list of our paychecks, the date we're getting them, how much we're thinking they're going to be. And then I list the paycheck that comes after the end of our month, so I kind of have an idea how we're going to start the beginning of our month. And I add up our paychecks, and then I add whatever we had kind of like hanging over from the last month, and that's our money for that month. Then I subtract our bills and any kind of extra things. So like this month I had to renew my license plates and I have to get an oil change and we might go do some things. And then I set a budget for how much extra we can spend. And I try to, if we're planning on doing something or we're planning a bill, like an extra bill, then I just put that on there. And then I put this little savings number up here in fancy little like light dashes so that we can be encouraged about how much we're saving. And that's pretty much how I do the budgeting, I would say. Just plan it out, and I like to make small budgets for everything. So it's like we have all the bills and we have a rough estimate of what they're going to be that month. And then I set bills for gas, and I set an amount for gas, and then I set an amount for groceries, and him and I both know what that amount is, and we try to go, so when we go to the grocery store, we try to be like, okay, we're going to try to spend this amount of money. If we go once a week, we try to split up our grocery budget into like 4 separate pieces, like 4 separate budgets. If we get gas, we just try to like notify each other when we get gas. At the end of the month, I go on our bank's website and I just look at all the little like receipts and I add up the extras. I pay attention to how much we've been spending throughout the month, but I add up all those extras and then I do all the math again about like 5 to 7 days in advance for the next month, and then we're kind of prepared from there. And if something comes up in the middle of the month, then I refer to this and I'm like, crap, we don't have enough. Oh wait, we do. Or whatever it is. So yeah, that's how I do my budgeting.
What do you prioritize with your money?
What do I prioritize? Well, I mean, definitely like our rent is, we want to make sure we get that sent out at the right time, so that we send it out in a check form so that our landlord can, like, you know, cash it in enough time. So that's a big priority in general. Gas and groceries are always kind of on my mind too. Like, I want to make